We developed a four-step process for turning conflict into connection. On a recent episode, we talked about how conflict is a completely normal behavior in any relationship, whether it's friendship, a romantic relationship with family, etc. And what we wanted to talk about today, though, is the fact that we have this GROW method, which is a four-step formula to resolve conflict better. But it's really about going inwards. So it's less about looking at someone and saying, you did this, or I didn't like that. It's really understanding what is it that really upset us. And it's typically not what we think it is. Sometimes we think it's, oh, you said this thing that really triggered me in this way. But really, we need to understand what's the root cause of it. And so that's what this methodology helps us do.
And it's based on how to de-escalate conflict. That's the most important. And it's not by pointing fingers at the other that you're going to de-escalate. It's by looking, okay, good. What was my state when I was in the conflict? What did I bring to the table? That you're going to realize, okay, these are elements that maybe made me a little bit more on edge and easier to trigger, because it's not about the other. It's really about 50% of each person joins into the conflict, and that's how it happens. So let's decipher it, and that's what the GROW method is for, to really shed light on these aspects and bring clarity so you can actually avoid it.
Yeah, great point. So that leads me to the first step is the G, which is gather your feelings. So you need to understand, how did I feel in this situation? Did I feel disrespected? Did I feel frustrated? Did I feel annoyed? Did I feel
Patronized, dominated, small, stupid, all the things that you can feel, really put it out and really try to understand, because often it's linked to a trigger that is embedded in you since early age. So what did you feel? What are the elements? You need to name it as well as possible to be able to get out of the conflict.
And if it's hard to understand what that feeling is, you can search online, you can journal a little bit. You don't have to get to the root feeling right away. You can give yourself a little bit of grace. The second step of the GROW method is the R, which is reframing the situation. So let's say I feel really frustrated in the situation. I'm going to now reframe that and say, I can see how this situation maybe was a little bit different from your perspective. So, really reframing the situation. So, trying to not just see it from how you felt, but also understanding the whole situation.
And rephrasing it in the worldview of the other person, to be like, look, this is the situation. I'm going to put myself in your shoes and try to look at the issue through your shoes. And then you will see that there is way more empathy for the other person. And you will get out of your head being like, oh, I'm a victim and you attacked me. And so this is really the second step to reconnect, because you're going to try to understand the world and the conflict through the eyes of your partner.
And then we have the O. So, the O is owning our
Uh-oh.
actions. And in this case, let's say I was really frustrated about something that happened. I'm reframing the situation after that, but then I'm owning, what was my part in this? It's never one person doing something, it's always two. It takes two to tango, right? And so in this case, we have, if I'm owning my actions, I can say, okay, I was really frustrated, but I realized I was really frustrated that day because I was coming home from work and my boss called me and I was stuck in traffic and I was just extra irritated. And because I was extra irritated, it contributed to the conflict.
Yeah, it made you more sensitive. So you have to be aware, how did you come into the conflict? What are the elements that might make you more flammable and more explosive? And then you can say, look, this is my part. You have nothing to do with it, but you were the person at the wrong time, and you actually get all the negativity and the conflict. So from owning your actions is really like, okay, this is all the elements that I felt and that I did before the conflict happened that might have contributed to it.
And the last one is the W, so work towards solutions. So if you're working towards solutions, you kind of have to come to the table and be open to, okay, let's say next time I'm going to speak more calmly, or next time I'm going to take a moment before I walk through the door and I'm going to take a few deep breaths in before I let my frustration or anger from the car or from work come and contribute to our house. So it's really understanding, what can you do to really It's really understanding what can you do yourself to resolve the conflict.
Mhm.
You're not in that moment saying, you as my partner or friend or whoever else need to change this and this and this. It's owning, okay, what can I now do and how can I contribute more meaningfully or in a better way to the next type of situation that we have.
Mhm. Or it's even coming home and immediately tell your partner, look, I'm really in a bad mood. I feel a bit um, irritable and easy to trigger, so give me some time. That's also a way
Mm-hmm.
to really avoid the conflict, because you're gonna just set the stage. It's clear for your partner. It's like, okay, good, maybe not now, talk about the trash, and yeah, communicate.
And the cool thing about this method is that when you go through it, when you're gathering your feelings, you're reframing the situation, you're owning your actions, and then you're working towards a solution, you can actually see that your partner or the person in front of you is also doing the same. So when you become vulnerable with your feelings and how you can change your behavior next time, you'll see that they actually do the same too. And when you say, okay, next time I'm going to come home and I'm going to do XYZ, most of the time your partner or the person is going to say, actually, I contributed in this way also, I could do better next time in
Mm-hmm.
XYZ way. When we become vulnerable and we own our feelings and our actions and our triggers and perhaps our backgrounds and what happened in the past, then the person in front of us is also given the space to open up.
Mm-hmm. But somebody needs to take the lead.
Yeah.
So the person that saw this video, please take the lead in your relationship, because one needs to really be able to express all these things and be vulnerable, and then the other one will really easily become vulnerable as well. It's like when you're in public and you just give somebody a compliment, they will immediately give you a compliment back. That's just the
Yeah.
act of reciprocity. And with vulnerability, it's the same. But sometimes you need to take the courage to be like, look, I brought that to the table. I'm sorry. And it's very important to de escalate, because what's the most important? You're a team. It's not you against me. It's just, look, we have a problem. We're going to tackle it. We're going to de escalate, and then we're going to reconnect. That's the most important.
And if you want a little bit more explanation on each one of these things, we actually have a free worksheet on www.mastersinrelationship.com, which you can find in our bio. And if you sign up, you will receive this as a free guide.